I'm sorry, and we're back. Hold on one second. I'm just letting everybody else know that we are back from the break.
Wow, yeah, awesome. Great videos, by the way, especially the second one. Actually, the first one, too. Both of them hit on one big thing about MMOs and something that we've all expressed in the past that we wanted: adventure. Fucking adventure. We want to be able to go out, we want to be able to find new damn things, and we don't want to be stuck in some theme park grind. Landmark does that, and it does that better than any other game out there. Right?
Did you mean... Wait, what did you mean by fucking adventure?
You know exactly what I
mean. See, the thing
Leisure
is...
Suit Larry stuff going on?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Hi. The second video, like, I just... okay, so... Like, I wish that there were more people around for Dave Jorgensen's New Year's Eve live stream, because he talked about, like, people were asking him for some features to implement into Landmark, and I wish that he had highlighted what he had said during his stream so that we could reference that to people and be like, hey, listen, they clearly in their minds have, like, where they see EverQuest Next going and where Landmark is going, and they're working on their paths to get the games in that direction, right? And so we can see where they're at with Landmark. We don't really know where they're at with EverQuest Next, but he specifically stated that some of the things that people are asking for in Landmark aren't the direction that game is heading. And so, like, that whole, like, survival mode, I don't necessarily think that they imagine that that's where Landmark is going, because Landmark is going to be a build and explore game. And does that mean that EverQuest Next is going to be more of the exploration game? I sure hope so, or the survival game. But I don't really know, because I don't know. Maybe that's why they have H1Z1, right? So that you have your traditional MMO type experience in EverQuest Next, your build and create and explore in Landmark, and then if you want to play survival, go play H1Z1.
It's funny, we've been playing Landmark for about a year now. We've been following EverQuest Next for, 2 years, almost, a year and a half-ish, and we still really have no idea what shape EverQuest Next is in, what it looks like, or what we can really expect, other than what we've seen in Landmark.
Yeah. Yes,
as far
and no.
as, like, actual EQ and gameplay, they say that Landmark's a test bed. We don't really know how true that is, because we haven't even been able to see EQ in. Maybe it could be a whole new experience, something, like, completely different. I still think that Landmark could be a side project, to be honest. I think that EQN still has a large percentage of the team devoted to it. On top of Landmark, I think Landmark is kind of push for the deadline to get stuff done, but let's push it out in chunks, and every other bit of the time, it's like, let's get EQN done. That's my opinion, though, and it's not really backed up by anything, because they say Landmark is the test bed.
It
I
is.
just don't know how.
I don't
know how much I believe it.
Because when they showed us the video footage from SOA Live, and they showed us the Dark Elves, right? And we saw that armor, and I was like, whoa, that's cool.
And then it was put in.
And then it was in Landmark.
How many other armor sets they already have? Okay, maybe certain aspects like combat, this is a good test bed Landmark. But as far as like questing and content and items and loot and drops and monsters, I'm sure they could have tons of monster models ready for EverQuest Next, tons of dungeons already created. We don't know about that yet, and that's where I think the Landmark's the side project thing. Hey, we have rudimentary combat built in EverQuest Next right now. Let's throw it into Landmark and play it. I don't know.
Oh, sure, and exactly what I think that they're doing.
What was that word again, Shuina?
There's a little slip of the tongue there.
Rudimentary.
Rudimentary.
Wow.
Rudimentary.
One of the things that I agree with that, and that actually we'll go back to a Twitter message that we got the other day that I'd like to talk about too, is that one of the things they talked about is like when you're exploring in Landmark and you come across the ruins, it would be awesome if that one of those ruins that you went to explore had like group mob content, not just, like, oh, hey, it would be nice if you had a friend. It's like, no, if you don't have a friend with you, there's just no chance that you have of defeating this boss. And we talked about that. The Twitter message we got from someone who watched one of our older shows was about the raid episode we did. And that was one of the reasons why one second, Vladis. Just the question was one of the reasons why not to have instanced, or why to have instanced raid encounters in EverQuest Next is to prevent the graveyard sprint, right? So you're fighting the boss mob. You die, you resurrect at the graveyard, and you just tear your ass back to the raid boss. And so you just basically, as long as nobody dies all at the same time. As long as there's one person alive and the rest of the group run from the graveyard and encounter, you don't have it reset. And so one of the ways to prevent that is to instance it so that when you die, you can't get back in until everybody's dead or you defeat the boss. But anyway, Gladys, yes, sir.
Hi. First of all, for everybody that joined right before we went on break, hi, yet again, EverCast. Thank you. Zoran's, Zoran, what, do you call them your Cubs? I'm going to call them your Cubs. So Zoran's Cubs all flocked us and rated us, which is fantastic. We discuss Landmark and EverQuest next here and other MMOs, and welcome. Thank you for
things
joining
with
us.
the stuff and the thing stuff.
Yeah, that's what we talk about, and I'm the jester, and everyone else is really the ones that do the show. I just pop up and be like, I make jokes. So, thank you for joining.
Oh my god.
If that gave you... Listen, don't question my methods. So if that gave you an answer of what we're doing, this is what we're doing. And give us a follow. I guarantee you, Zoran... If Zoran rated us, there's a reason. We've been doing this for over a year, and I think we've kind of do it about... Well, at this point, we do a good job at it.
Hey,
okay.
Question: how much do we need to add for Zoran's payroll this month? Is it
right?
Is it 200? No.
He gets 2 hate.
Don't make this weird, guys. He gets 2 bear butts, and that's all he gets. That's
all.
it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No more bear butts.
We can't afford
Gladys,
any more
get
bear
on
butt
that.
pay raises. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got the bear butts on lock.
I got the bear butts on lock.
That could be a
Holla,
great
holla at
machinima
me if you
for
online blog.
Landmark. Yeah, I think that's going to be my side project while I'm not doing the show. I'm going to work on some corny-ass Landmark songs like Bare Butts and more.
I love that boob windows in the first 5 minutes sold me on this cast.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't wood windows that sold you on the cast.
Don't make it weird. Just
I don't know what's wrong with the wood window, man. Nothing's wrong with wood windows.
oh my god.
Can we call it the junk skylight instead?
Yeah, I'll totally accept that. I like that. I like the bat signal.
Oh my god.
So yeah, Gladys is the comedian over there and cracks jokes. I'm the neurotic one that tries to keep us on some sort of topic. I fail miserably at my job, yet I still try. The clicking is not a typewriter. It is the dog walking right by over there.
I love how he describes what Flatus and he is, but he leaves Chad and Kylest out of the descriptions. I demand one. Now.
Chewie is leaving us. That's Trina over there.
Nothing but dust in the wind.
Oh.
Apparently Chewie's like an old man fart.
No. No leaf on the wind. No leaf on the winds.
And Kylest is our resident badass because she's the one that screams, I'm going to put my axe in your face in PvP more than anybody else.
A resident badass.
I'm sure sometimes you guys will notice that she probably puts an axe in Tanlin's head after the show sometimes as well.
That's why he's bald.
Oh, that's
Has to
why.
Keep shaving his head, you know.
It's torture. It's an axe. You just.
I used to have hair, but now it's all scar tissue.
Oh, jeez.
True dad. Chewina is leaving because he is getting married and cannot balance a show and a woman and video games and
soon moving, new job, working on stuff.
With the
maybe
things.
in the future we'll be back. I might do some writing on the side. I'll definitely still be around in Norath and Landmark. Like I'm not going anywhere. Just the weekly commitment to the show. Just not for now, you know. But I'll still be around. I'll still troll chat. I mean, I can log in and watch the show and troll everybody. That's the most fun to be had
I look forward to this.
Yeah.
And just like anything else, of course, if we need a guest, Chew's always welcome first and foremost. If he's like, hey, I want to come on Sunday because I need to discuss what's happening in the game.
That's a good point. Good point.
Sensation. Yeah, absolutely.
Also, these, they're my tanking gloves.
Those are pretty badass tanking gloves.
Because I have to wear gloves when I tank dungeons and raids. I have to. So these are my tanking gloves.
It's because you're bad to the bone.
Bad to the bone.
No, it's because I play undead, dude. Duh.
That works too.
So rating question was, and if I remember the question,
And
it was
voice chat
I don't think
first.
and that too, voice chat.
No. But we'll get her back to voice chat. We definitely want to talk about that because I think
The rating.
Chewy and I have different opinions on that. But he comes from more of a PlanetSide 2 background, so he's had experience with it before. I have not, and I don't like it. But
Well,
Okay, I like
sneak
it.
preview.
I like it because I'm tired of typing in MMOs. There's enough button clicking. Everyone uses voice chat anyways, and this allows me to have voice chat with whoever the hell I want. It'll only expand with custom channels in game. I think the quality of it's really good. It doesn't have some lack of features like being able to assign push to talk.
And it's hard to configure.
It's hard to configure. No, that's all that needs a lot of work. Absolutely. In PlanetSide 2, it has it a lot better than that already, to be honest. So,
and then that's the
implementation. But
well, the videos that we watched during the break, right? Is that it's got to be easy to use out of the box, or else people aren't going to use it. And that's what my New Year's Eve experience was. Is that I spent like 20 minutes trying to configure it to work, couldn't get it to work, so I'm just like, screw it. Don't need it. And I might need it. And that's the thing, is like it turned me away because I couldn't get it configured to work correctly. And then my other frustration with it was that it was proximity based. And so like I would like to be in an area where I could hear everybody, but because people were standing at different distances, even though we were trying to have a community type event, some people were louder than others, and it didn't make it. It wasn't a very good experience. It was like, this is. And those are...
It is, but it's also really cool to be able to walk up to somebody in a spire or cave, have your proximity chat on, and be able to talk. Or we were grouping, Tobin and I, and we were using proximity instead of group. So literally, it is proximity based. Like if you walk away, it fades into the distance. So you walk up to a group of people that are having a conversation. How cool is that for even RP purposes in the future?
That's
and communication
neat.
Across the game.
Neat.
No, I think it's...
But it has to be functional.
Need, and it has to be functional, but I think going forward in MMOs, just like based in console voice chat, why should I need a dedicated TeamSpeak channel that's ran unless I'm in some specific guild? Keep it in the game, keep it easy to use, and let me just talk to everybody.
Right, and focus on the easy to use part first, because that's
okay, that's fair. So maybe they implemented it too early, like because I'm telling you,
and that's why I was
not as rough.
Okay,
I mean,
that was my question. Is it this easy to use in PlanetSide 2? Because if it's this like hard to configure and get working correctly, then it's like, well, what they need to... I mean, what have they been spending years developing? Because this isn't working well.
Well, here's a better question. I mean, EverQuest 2 has voice chat built in, right? So, I mean, and if it's working in PlanetSide 2, do we know if DCO has built-in voice chat? I don't know if anyone knows that one.
But we don't know that one. No.
We know EQ2 does, and I've used it, and it's okay. It's not great. It's kind of in your face and kind of obtrusive and stuff like that, but it's not great. What?
Do you see Chuina answering the phone? He's totally on the phone. He is on the phone.
Look, I saw that.
So let him talk on
the one talking. What is it? Nobody. He's leaving. Don't care about him.
I'm so sorry.
Focus on me right now.
I'm so sorry. I'm back. I'm focusing on you. I apologize. You're as bad as my fiance. I'm listening, dear.
At least I game.
I instantly became Bridezilla.
Anyways, I apologize.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I've used in-game voice chats before, and I just like the one that I have. It's got better quality and stuff like that. I could see for an RP aspect, yes, and maybe just maybe that the reason they implemented it now is that they want it's. What are people complaining about with voice chat? So that when it's implemented in EverQuest Next, I'm expecting that to be a nice, like, when they launch it, it's there. They have it figured out, and that I'm okay with, because it's already been stated, and that once open beta hits, that a large portion of the Landmark, a good chunk of the Landmark team is moving over to EverQuest Next. So, so once open, gone. So.
I will add that in EverQuest 2, it is very easy to use, and that's kind of the only kind of traditional RPG experience that I've used voice chat in. PlanetSide 2 doesn't really count, it's a shooter, but it really helps for pugs and pug raids and things like that. Like grouping up with random people because you don't have to invite them to your TeamSpeak channel. It can take a long-ass time to type out a strat. As a tank, Kailas, I bet you've had to type out a lot of long-ass strats to people who have never done a fight before. It's super easy if you can just talk to them.
Yeah, and I agree with it. I remember one of the things that when Dave was talking about the in-game voice communication, proximity chat, whatever you want to call it, is that like we were all like, well, I have Ventrilo, I have TeamSpeak, I have Skype, I have OpenRaid and Mumble all installed on my computer. And he was like, yeah, but you're like you're playing a different type of hobby than compared to what we want to pick up. And like ever since he said that, I've always kind of balanced that. Like, okay, and my parents, right? That's who I always look at, right? Because that's like they're the most casual MMO players I know, and so they're a good test bed to see, what's working, what's not working, what do they find hard to use, what do they find easy to use. Because if they can figure things out and say that, oh, this is easy to use, then I know that it's really easy to use. And yeah, I never want to help my dad configure a TeamSpeak profile ever again, because sometimes everything works and it's really easy, and sometimes it's really a pain in the ass. And if they can get the proximity chat working marginally better, okay, so that it's easy to configure straight out of the box as soon as you load up Landmark, okay, that's a great asset for the game to have. I completely agree with that. I think that the proximity chat is a little weird in that I think that the volume, it might de-escalate the volume too quickly, so that like somebody is walking away from you and you hear nothing when you expect to still be listening to them. But yeah, I think that, you know what, I think that more, like you said, like the console games all have that now coming in, right? That's what, PC games are gonna, in this respect, PC games need to catch up with console games.
Definitely. I mean, have you even used Steam's in-game or in-channel voice? It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Don't use that. Skype is better than that. And when Skype's better for something with gaming, it's just bad.
And the same thing with Warcraft had. We experimented like years ago with Warcraft's built-in voice server, and it was garbage. And ever since we couldn't get it configured to work correctly, we were just like, well, we're not even going to bother with it. And like even amongst us, like, even on the show, like we all have Skype and TeamSpeak, and we use Skype for one thing, but we realized that TeamSpeak is better, so we used it for another thing. And so it's like we still haven't found like the best thing. It's a very, I don't know, it's something that needs to get worked out a little bit better with Skype and TeamSpeak and all of that. And if the games can make it easy to use right on install, that's like a huge bonus for that game.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the rating question, because I think
sure.
Because I do want to talk about that, because it's a thing and it needs to be addressed. And I think Tanlin and I don't know, Chewik, you agreed as well, kind of like pre-show, and I think Kyle agreed as well.
I mean, it's interesting, but
one of the rare times where all four of us kind of said, "Yeah, well, that's true. There it is." where rating should be kind of instanced, just because of the. Well, you're what are you switching back now?
No, I said it was a good point that they made, but
Chewy, you're like,
it's a good point.
You're flippy.
That was in relation to normal rating. But
all right, Mr. Pancake, flipping it, flopping it.
Oh man, getting called out.
What about different difficulties, right? Because does EverQuest 2 have different difficulties of the same raid encounter, or is it just like one raid encounter period and that's it? Because I think that was one of the good things about Warcraft, about having the different levels of difficulty also meant different levels of commitment to that raid. So at the lower level, at the base level of a raid, don't instance it, because if people want to graveyard rush it after they die over and over again to get that kill, let them, because this is our easiest difficulty and we want people to experience this type of raiding. But as you go up high, now you have to have more commitment and more commitment. And one of those commitments might be, okay, well, at this tier, at this highest difficulty, it's going to be instanced because we want to protect you from being griefed by other players. If it's instanced, we can keep them out and we can protect the mechanics in an instance, because you can't just, like have people outside of your raid group doing things, because I've also seen that done. Where it's not protected behind an instance, you can have other people helping you out in ways that weren't intended. And I think that these are, all things to consider. I don't honestly have the answer. I just think that it's, it's a great talking point.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of where it's like, if you're new to it or you just want to experience what the content is for story purposes, have it open. And then when you want to do something a little more difficult, then with your guild or whatever, then start having the lockouts. And then that way it kind of gives everyone like that, okay, well, I don't raid for, I'm more of an adventurer. I just want to see the story, where the story takes me. Perfect. Then I can just run in with a group of my friends, do it however, like how Guild Wars 2 does their like kind of like dragon, like when they do like their big kind of open events, you die, you just kind of just haul butt back and pray for the best.
I remember that.
My opinion, like EverQuest Next, totally different game. I don't even know if I want to see raiding as in past games in EverQuest Next. If I did, it's because of what Delman put in chat, and that is for on-demand entertainment for those really skilled players. Raid bosses should be big-ass dinosaurs or dragons that I accidentally dig down underground and found, and then I should have to call my friends, and we should get repeatedly like pummeled by this monster until we get enough people or figure out a good strat. And then loot's shared. Like, that's the one thing that Landmark has gotten right so far is loot. Everything is shared but randomized per person. So anybody in the proximity opens a chest you're near, you kill a mob someone's near, you all get a gain out of that. It rewards everybody. It's not like, hey, let's all do this raid instance to get one shoulder pad for one person, because that's necessary.
Well, that I agree with. I mean, like, that shouldn't really happen. But what happens if, let's say, if you find that, let's say ruin, let's say there's ruins or whatever, and it becomes like a raid where you need 20, 30, 40 people to come join and take out this thing. What happens if it's like nobody's like, oh, it's Tuesday, people are working, I can't stay late, I can't stay up, like you haven't gotten to the end of it. Like, granted, like I'd be the type of person that's like, well, can I want to see what's at the end of this, so I'll stay up, but then like that affects my daily life. So where
that's a good point, the on-demand aspect. But what if with story breaks that when you find that raid mob, it doesn't sit down in the dungeon, but it comes and attacks your city and forces you and the players around to adapt? Because we're talking about a fluid world, right? Is the idea of EverQuest Next not us just raiding mobs, but mobs raiding us? I mean, what if raid mobs daily come attack a certain area and we have to like forge together big world event style?
Hopefully.
I just don't know if instance gameplay is right for EverQuest Next. And I'm more worried that if they go that route, that the vision of the game is going to kind of get watered down, because they're going to try and make two very different games. I'd like them to stick with this big open adventure where I'm afraid of the world and enjoy the story, then get trapped up in mini games and things like that.
Oh no, if Team Steroids that I had going off in Landmark shows up in EverQuest Next so we can steamroll that, then we got problems.
Absolutely.
Because the question is, like, what happens if you find that good group build where it's just like, well, this is it. This is the one that can kind of go through and wreck house everywhere you go. Also, if it is something like you just need the dude with the shield and one guy who can keep refilling your MP and somebody else who can kind of like keep your shield up while the other two people stun lock the mobs, like everybody's wailing on them. Then what?
Yeah,
and that's the thing about the AI. Like, we haven't really seen much big promises about the AI. This is the first version of the AI we've seen, and it's still very basic, like 90s programming here. I don't know what's going on.
90s programming.
I mean, it appears that way, though. It appears that way. They can't communicate yet, and I think that's a lot. We can't see the process that's going on behind the system with these mobs. It could be more complicated than we think. They could be like looking at variables and stuff, but there's no way to tell from that dumbass log. I'm just going to kill it anyways, or it's going to kick me off.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works right now. It's got a red name, kill it. If it's red, it's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it has loot, and right now the combat in Landmark is pretty much, you want the loot because that's where you get the stuff, and to get the stuff you have to kill the mobs, and that's like a very narrow, limited game experience, right? Like kill, loot, move on. And EverQuest Next, I'm hoping. I think it's way too early. I don't know, because they've said that when it makes sense, they'll use raid instances. I think that's almost a direct quote. Maybe not verbatim, but when it makes sense.
No, that's exactly what they said. They said when it makes sense. And I have a feeling that we'll see raid content that's instance. I just think that there's going to be certain things.
They're going to find it. Here, my hope is that they find a way to pull it off, that both types of open world and instance content work together and make sense and make it fun for people who want to do both, or for people who want to do one purple, and for people who want to do one over the other. I mixed those words together.
Yes, you heard it here first. The flying purple people, people.
Right. So, that's my hope, is that they find a way to pull off both, and make it the fun and enjoyable experience. Because I don't know. Because otherwise, they're going to be, one of those is going to really suck compared to the other.
Yeah, one's going to be really good and one's going to be completely bad. It's like, let's just ignore that part of the game or not play the game.
Exactly what will happen is if the instance raids are horrible and nobody enjoys doing them, then it's better like, okay, so we have our limited time because, of work and wives and stuff like that we can go and do this thing or the other thing. It's like, well,
don't include me in this.
Totally said wives.
I can't believe he said work and wives, because suddenly wives are what prevent men from playing video games. What?
Okay, husbands, maybe your husband is like, honey, we have to go do something, and
like Clara's husband from
Oh yeah, honey, no, the babies can watch themselves. The baby's sitting there like chewing on an extension cord or whatever, just putting it in their mouth. Oh man.
All I'm saying is that time is a limited resource, and we have commitments that take up our time, and so in a limited time environment, like, you're going to have to make a choice of doing one thing or the other, and we're not going to do the one that sucks. Okay, whether that's the open land world PvP raids on giant mobs or the instance content, whichever one is not fun is the one we're not going to do, because we as players, we know that that's what's going to happen.
That explains why you spend more time on the computer.
So, moving on. Here's a question.
I'll start packing my bag now.
This can answer exactly what we're talking about. Do you feel like you can log into Landmark at any time and finally start having things to do and feel accomplished during your time play there? Does it seem like you have to dedicate a certain amount of time? Can you enjoy a small amount of time in the game? That's my question. The game's still new, content's still low, maybe not forcing you to log in, but can you log in for a small amount of time and enjoy it? Let me put it that way.
Right now, for me, because like I've mentioned before, that Landmark is a very different gameplay experience for me, so I have to have like a creative mindset when I log in, and that creative mind space only lasts like an hour or two. Beyond that, like, my brain starts getting frazzled, and it's like I think I've mentioned before, like, my imagination is bigger than my building skills, and my building skills can't keep up with my imagination, and so, like, I have to very focus, like, I am going to focus on this particular part of my build, and I can get maybe an hour of building on that before my imagination starts running away, and then I can do this, and I can do this. And then when it comes to combat, like, my gameplay experience is limited by how much inventory space I have, because eventually I have to teleport back out so that I can break stuff down and throw stuff in chests. And when I teleport out, that usually it doesn't feel fun to have to jump back in. And that's normally what will happen when I go adventuring is I'll log in and I'll go adventuring, I'll jump down into a cave, and when my bags are full, that's when I'm done.
That's when he starts cussing.
That's a good point. I felt that in normal MMOs. I call it the big journal syndrome, the big quest journal syndrome. You log in and you're like, shit, I have so much to do. I don't even know where to start. I'll do this later. Like, it becomes sort of a chore. So far in Landmark, I guess maybe because I'm not as serious about the game and I do it just for pleasure, that I can enjoy any limited time in the game, whether I'm just going to another person's claim. Like, I check out Fugazid's claim a lot just to walk through it and enjoy it. Pop down in the caves for a while. If I want to craft a little, it's there. But for me, I can enjoy that. And I guess it gives me hope for EQN that if there is all this unlimited content around us all the time in EQN, you can dig underground, you can go adventure here, you can go there, you can easily teleport to a friend, then I think it could be a completely open world and still have the accessibility of short play times. But I don't know. It all depends on progression too, right? Because typically you need to grind in an MMO. And you have to grind a lot for crafting in Landmark, but I think that's where most of the time sink comes through. I have to complete this raid zone. It takes 2 hours to complete this raid zone. If I don't complete this raid zone, I cannot progress, kind of deal.
Go on.
I was going to say, for me, it's more of a... I like the same thing for Minecraft for me. Like, I hop into Minecraft when I want to kind of, like, detach myself and kind of relax. Like I'll dig down and build some stuff and go mining and survive and do that. Like I think Landmark would probably be that game where if I just like feel like I need to unwind for a little bit, I just like log in and go mining and build a horrible cube shaped shack and be like, "What's my box? I have a box. Like my box, I built it. This is the limit of my imagination. Is this box?
It fits.
Yeah.
That's essentially it. I'll just sit in my box and be like, "Here's it, guys."
Yes. And so what I was going to say is that I actually now that I think about it, I have like 3 different mind states of playing Landmark, because there's building, there's adventuring, and then there's harvesting. And harvesting, like, because it goes into a different inventory type management system, like, and I've never filled that thing up. Normally what I'll do is I'll sit down and be like, oh, to build like one thing or another, I need like 5,000 of this and 2,000 of this, and I'll just go out until I have it. And that is more limited by what I feel I need at that particular time, and not like a time constraint. I could spend, 2-3 hours just harvesting, and that probably makes me a little bit weird, that I can just like, with my hammer and my pick.
Put on some good music, run around. It's even cooler when you find a ruin. Like, I'm telling you, that's the feature of EQN is digging down and finding some lost dungeon, because there's no storyline there at all, but just going into the giant ass room and you see this cool ass ruin, you go up to it and you see the mobs all over it that you have to kill to get through it.
And that's when it really becomes like this part of this art experience, right? Is that somebody, when they were building it, they were coming up with some sort of narrative about what was going on. Like a fireball came down in from over here. And so when you go and you actually find the ruins, you'll be like, okay, well, I can see that there's, the hole in the ceiling over here and some scorch marks over here. It's like, did a fireball come in like over there? And Chad and I, we were building back when we were doing the Wood Elf City. We came up with that same sort of thing, right? Like I was up on top of the hill with these huge trees, and I was building up into the trees, and you were going to be like the Wood Elf village down below, and we were building.
Yeah, the one that like escaped
it was just like,
from the feudal environment, or the rebels or outcasts who are now living down below,
right,
or something. Yeah,
and I forget who it was, but it was. It might have been Tolkien, but it might have been David Eddings. And David Eddings came, like, I was reading his his book, his journal about writing, and one of the things is like, start with a map, right? And as you're drawing a map, the places that you're putting in the game, they'll start to tell you, or not in a game, but as you're drawing places on the map, they will start speaking to you, and they'll start telling you a story, and all you have to do is like kind of capture that. That's where I think ruin exploration is like, that's why I'm so frustrated that I haven't found any yet. Like I've seen pictures of them, but I haven't been able to like run around in them and really look.
That was Tolkien.
Was it Tolkien who was like, start with a map?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like the ruins is a good start for a Landmark. I kind of like to see the trigger system like maybe be implemented in such a way that they set it so it's kind of like that it auto generates stuff to happen in those ruins, like traps or whatever. Like just say like, just have it set up like, oh, if the ruin exists, a ruin does pop up, these set of rules can happen. Like this, one of these couple things, you get traps, or it spawns like a horde of monsters or whatever like that. So it's kind of like, all right, I can go in here, and then all of a sudden like things start happening, and so it makes the ruins a little more like, if they're rare, cool, and if they're rare, there should be some danger behind them, and there should be traps and stuff like that. I think that they could do it. It's an idea.
I mean, once the dungeon mastering systems come in and you can actually place NPCs and storylines, they could easily do build competitions, I imagine, that copy those aspects of the game too. And maybe next ruins that we actually see are fully like storied and they're created by players. Maybe Brad Power or Fugazi or one of those amazing builders hires one of us to do the NPC stuff because they like building more, or maybe
right.
It could be a huge group effort. You could have people like Minkus who are sitting there making or nor functions with the linking and triggering system, so you can have a special effect, and you can have some people working on the AI and the storyline of the dungeon, and then the people making the ruin dungeon, and then the game just automatically puts it underground for people to explore randomly. That could be pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I just want to be able to make the breakfast machine from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, like in my box shack. Like I just want to wake up and hit a button, and all of a sudden like it makes pancakes and eggs and stuff for me, and I just eat one little piece of it and go, and just like leave and have my adventure with my bike. I'm the me, and then like one person in chat's like, yeah.
That was that like the New Year's Eve live stream, they were showing that someone had put together the fans that people can the prop fans, right? You can, if you put them together, they can act as people movers, right? So like one fan will move you to the next fan, and then that fan will pick you up and move you to the next one. And it was really cool to watch. And again, yeah, I think that we really are scratching the surface of like the dungeon master control systems that we've all been asking for. Like, let us design our own little worlds, and part of that is like more controls over what we can do with our claim. We've asked for things like when a command goes off, like with a triggering, Brad Power asked, like, can we get it to make a sound or make an emote? Like you step on a particular voxel and it's like you hear a click.
Yeah.
you know, that sort of thing. And you know, the thing is that like all the times that we talk about it and we tweet it out to the developers, somebody's taking notes and being like, okay, it's not a matter of if we're going to put this stuff into the game. In my opinion, they're like, okay, where do we prioritize it? Where do we put, like, we know we need to implement some optimization to the voice channel. Well, where do we put that in combination with all of these other things that we want to do? Because I'm sure that they're overwhelmed with things that they'd like to see. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Like, I think it's going to be interesting when people open it up and start creating cool things. Like, I think that I'd have a lot more fun with things like people using those and/or nor functions, and when they add more stuff to it, where people are creating like choose your own adventure, where it's like not even like you're attacking anything or anything, like there's just different paths you can choose, and it's a story, and you're choosing your own little story, and you could die. Like they take the time to build different paths and different things happen. Like a haunted house be a crazy thing to happen.
That would be sick. Yeah,
like that would be
things
that'd
pop
be
up.
yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Like to me, I would be more into seeing that landmark than anything. Like monsters, cool. Digging, cool. Show me a haunted house. Like if I go to somebody's haunted house and I step and I take like a side way, like I'm gonna go this way instead of like it's like a maze and I take one different way.
Triggering. I'd love to see RNG triggering too. Like you step on a flinger, but the player hasn't decided where it's going to fling you to. You just step on it and it like throws you in some random direction at some random velocity, and so you don't always land in the same place twice. That'd be kind of cool too. And teleport you to one of 5 different teleport pads, like, you know, one in the center, and it can teleport you to 5 different ones, but it's a random, like, where it takes you, it takes you.
I'll tell you this, like I have some fun, like in like some of the older, like I wish they were still around. Like some of the Minecraft servers I used to play on, they did that. Like, and I think those were the most fun for me when like I'd hop in a random minecart and just like all of a sudden I was like on a cool like little adventure through like a roller coaster, or it took me through somebody's house. Like there was one where a guy built the tram go through all of his giant mansion, and like you went through like a lava wall and stuff. Like to me, like that's I like exploring like that. I think from like my talks with Kyle S, I think she'd be more interested in seeing things like that versus like the combat where Minecraft is very much more of a watching people build with what's available in the game and looking at it and experiencing it. That would be more fun. I think she'd have more fun in a haunted house versus using the combat. Where the combat, I think, for her would be later in EverQuest Next, where it's more, centered around the grouping content. It's more on point. For right now, that's not her game, and like I think more of her game would be like the things that people are creating.
Right.
I love to build in Minecraft. I just don't like building in.
And to be honest,
Landmark.
I hate the kill stuff or kill mobs and steal their loot or steal their stuff type loot systems where that is the gameplay experience. Like it's needlessly violent and you know, like that video that we watched during the break where he was like, you're going on a murderous rampage, and that's the point of the combat.
Get ready for mindless slaughter.
Mindless slaughter, that's what he said. Yeah, it's like I would like to see something a little bit more interesting than that, because otherwise I'm perfectly content standing in the back harvesting for people to trade for the things that I need and want. And that's why it was like, can we make the recipes not automatically learn so that I can acquire them from more people?
I'm gonna create a little commercial where I just play the In the Eyes of an Angel, like arms of an angel, and they're like, how many chompers have to die before we take a stand and say no more?
So we've got just about 10 minutes left yet. Have any of us come across the ley line system? Have we played around with that yet at all?
I have not, and Doran found one. So they are there. If people are thinking they're not in the game, you want to talk about like what a raid boss might be like finding an EQ next. Like they are there, and when you find them, you unlock them, and you can take people there. But they're hard to find. They are very difficult. If you think finding a ruin's hard to find, the ley lines are even harder. But they're absolutely there, and they work just fine.
Well, do they work just fine, or do they still run into that you teleport and you might fall to your death?
Okay, well that's fair. That's a totally different bug. But you really need to adventure in this game.
That's a feature. What are you talking about?
It's a feature, exactly. Because then you can just teleport again. But it's really cool. I haven't run into one yet. I've seen pictures of them, though. And Endoran told me about finding one night just randomly digging. He was just so elated. And it's still, that's something that he has a unique story that I don't have. And he was able to share it with me and get me excited for his adventure and make me want to go on an adventure towards it. Take me there. It's an amazing building block.
So you asked Endoran out on a date?
Yeah, I was like, Endoran, hey, what are you doing tomorrow night? Let's go find that ley line.
Show me your ley line. When Endoran watches this later.
With his woodwind.
Yeah, he's going to be like, what is going on?
He's like, what happened?
Show me your ley.
Well, I mean, we went searching for it when we were down there for like hours, like fighting mobs, and so we purposely dug through walls and stuff, trying to bless you, and Gazootite, and I don't know what else. You're welcome. But yeah, we like Dubé gave me one of those cool like handheld drill things, and I felt like I was Mega Man.
Right, and that was actually one of the things that I wanted to make about finding the Ether shards. Right, like those are still in the ancient Earth, right? Like you can get them from the ancient Earth, digging them up.
The Ether stones and things. You get Ether stones and from the Earth. Right. So like the old upgrading stuff's all gone.
Right, but if you're like, we need to tell people that are new to Landmark is that like before you go adventuring, you need to find someone to make you one of those ore finders and the ground finders, because once you hit that button, it shows you right where the ancient Earth is to get the Ether shards to build your better equipment, and that's why I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't find it particularly grindy, is because I could hit one button and see where the things are that I needed. So I knew where to go to, and I also have like the massive pummeler, demolisher, the thing that goes through the earth. And I can just, even if I can't find the actual route to get to that mineral node or that earth node or those gems, I can just drill a hole through the earth to get to where I want to go. And so I think that's the difference between feeling that it's grindy and then just being like, oh, it's normal routine, is having access and knowing how to use those tools. Because
that's something you were asking for with crafting too, I believe, back in the day, is you were like, don't make it like a system that is. It's basically like a theme park where my character has to learn a skill, but make it so it's a skill I actually have to learn. That's a skill you actually have to know and spread with people. I mean, yeah,
but that's not necessarily harvesting.
Frustrating to most people, but it makes it for a possibility, though, to where you could be some crazy-ass dungeon master and know where everything is because you found this special way to use the tool that no one else has. Yep. You can spread it with the world.
And again, that's not necessarily a crafting thing. That's more of a harvesting thing. And
I know.
In my mind, I separate them out a little bit more. I really need to spend some more time with the crafting system now that it's in. Because is it still like you make one thing and it just comes with that one set of stats? There's no randomness to it. So the hardest part of making something is to do the exploration to actually find how to make it, and that's
for now. Yeah.
And that's for now, and I don't find that particularly enjoyable. But when the upgrade system comes that they talked about, or the imbuing system, or where you can start like adding, because the old system was you made your pick, but then you could upgrade it and customize it with the components that you were able to make. That made it more interesting because you could have a high speed pick or a low, high damage pick, or one with a larger radius. And the idea is that, well, how far can you go with the PvE equipment that you can make in the game? And that is actually pretty interesting to me. And so maybe I need to just like get my hands involved in some crafting and see what all is in the game so far, because I don't think that it's in the game yet. Like, you make that one piece of gear and that's your one piece of gear. There's no upgrading it. Am I wrong? Am I right?
No, you're completely right. Most of it is playing with the other gears. So you craft it, and then it's how you equip the items, and they play with each other and play with your skills right now. But there will be, they don't call it upgrading, but there will be a way to fine tune and add attunements, imbuing certain features and weapons. Yeah.
Maybe I just said that. I don't know. So we've got about like 5-6 minutes left, guys. I didn't think we'd go for. Well, no, it was a mega update. It was definitely going for the whole 2 hours. Any last thoughts with this mega update?
Dun, dun, dun.
We've seriously like gone through our whole experience.
Me, it's
of
all
them.
about adventuring. It's about going back to what I loved about MMOs in the first place, and that's just getting lost and having fun. The game still has a lot more to come. It's still very early in all of its implementation. I imagine we'll see a lot better of a product come EverQuest Next, but the ability that we already have in this early version to adventure and explore and get some satisfaction from exploring and adventuring, it kind of confounds me a little bit. It makes me very excited for the future of maybe not this game, but the future of MMOs if things follow this path. If this game doesn't work out, hey, maybe someone else will see the idea and roll with it then. Maybe it's too early in the generation. Maybe the technology is not quite there, what we end up with as a final product. But the team working on it seems dedicated as ever. And we say it's endless hype when we talk about Dave Georgeson. But I'm starting to get that feeling again that it's not just endless hype, that there is something really special here, and that we're going to see something even cooler going in the future. But that's me right now. We'll see what happens off the next updates. The whole Landmark early development thing's been very up and down for me and maybe for all of us. Oh, they're not doing anything. Oh, but it's still not what I want. I want this. Maybe once we get into open beta, we're going to have a lot better grasp on what the game's going to be in the end, what they're going to finally cut off and say, no, this is the game we want, we're happy with it, we're just going to add to it. Right now, I think we're all still wanting a little bit of everything in Landmark. We're still wanting the full EQ and experience to a point in certain aspects. Maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe the Landmark is a good enough game to stand on its own right now. Only time will tell.
And with that said, I think that the rest of the hosts should take a second and say goodbye to Chewy, because we have 5 minutes, and I think we should all say something before we sign out for the night.
It was
Tamlin,
the best time. It was the worst time.
So a little history of the show is that I was looking to do a podcast for specifically on EverQuest Next. And Chewy, you got a hold of me through Reddit, right? Or you posted on Reddit, and I got a hold.
On Reddit. We were both looking. A couple people were looking at the time. Like Rek was working on something, Gogajira was working on something. Phantom X was like, "Hey, let's have this idea." It was very early in the formation of the community before anything really happened because there was no even game out. I posted on Reddit. You replied. You said to join you in IRC. Or maybe I did post on Reddit. I think I found Flatus in Reddit. I think I found you in IRC. I was popping in and I talked to you and you're like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. And then we started chatting from there, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. And just over a year and a half or just under a year and a half we've been doing this. And this is probably outside of gaming, actually playing the game, this is probably the most rewarding gaming experience that I've had. And you're part of it, and so therefore always your first MMO, your first gameplay experience is always your most favorite because you base all of your experiences off of that first encounter, and so for that you'll always be my first.
That is quite touching, Shannon. I appreciate that.
I don't even.
So,
I will be the first to publicly admit that Shamina and I have not always gotten along. We have gone numerous.
And vice versa. We definitely have had fun back in the day. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm not begging you to stay, but
No, you go
but
bed your soon-to-be wife.
Oh boy. Oh jeez.
Because you're pretty.
Well, I don't know how I'm gonna follow all that. But
Wow.
yeah.
What just happened there?
I have no idea.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Please tell me you've seen
It was
that.
Firefly.
I have seen the Firefly movie, and I've seen a couple episodes of actual Firefly.
Oh!
Look, maybe I saw it in the wrong order, but I loved the movie, and the television show didn't hold up for me in a lot of ways because the movie maybe was more complete, and the show was an early iteration. I enjoyed
The
some episodes
movie
of the
was
show, other than just-
shite!
I don't know, maybe it's because that was my first experience with the genre.
Get to episode 7. Just get to episode 7 in the TV series.
All right,
Seriously.
I will.
Just a 7.
Anyway, to clue you in though,
Alright.
the married guy, the single girl on the show says to the married man on the show, "Tell me that you would take me in a manly fashion," and or tell me that you want me or something like that, and he replies back to her, "If I were an unwed man, I would take you in a manly fashion," and there, hence the
Because you are pretty.
and then she says, "Because I'm pretty," and then he goes, "Because you're pretty," and yeah, that's the whole inside joke. We totally butchered it. It's not going to be
Oh
funny.
jeez. Well, as I say goodbye to Chewy finally, we went through that side rant. Chewy, as Tanlin said, yeah, you found me on Reddit, and I wouldn't be doing EverCast if I didn't have the gall to say, "Hey, would you want to do EverCast?" Actually, it wasn't even EverCast at that point. It was just like, "We want to do a podcast, okay?" And we got to meet and found out you're in Florida. And yes, now that I am staying in Florida, I will promise that since we are friends, I will eventually this year take time to make my way up that way and have a drink with you. So thank you for doing this with us for under a year and a half. And I don't think that it's going to be the same without you, but you're still part of this community and you're a dear friend, and EverCast was shaped. You're part of that foundation, and whoever we decide, and if somebody can, we'll find someone to fill that spot, but it'll never be a Chewina, and that sucks, but it's also cool. So I want you to have the best adventures, and see you in game, and see you in EverQuest 2, and see you in chat.
Well, thanks, Vladis. Thanks, everybody. It has been a lot of fun. I think it's definitely been an experience across every aspect of my life, from just, stupid little arguments over what direction the show should go in, or figuring out how to even start or run the show. Because, we've been through every single conversation we could possibly have. Should we market this show? Should we focus on it that way? Should we make it conversational and fun? What is EverCast? And it's we've met a lot of cool people. We've been able to be a part of a great community, and EverCast, of course, is going to go forward and continue to be a great podcast, whether it sticks with Landmark EQN or not. That's, of course, up to you guys to decide. And I'll definitely still be in the community and definitely still be doing projects in the future, so that's not a problem. But I thank you all for your time, joining me on this adventure and letting me be a part of it. Absolutely.
Okay, guys, and with all that said, that's episode 42, Don't Panic. We brought our towels, we inserted our babelfish, and we're all going to go and end the show by drinking Pan-Galactic Gargle Blasters. Yeah, so, And with that, I think this would be Chewy's last time that he camps us all out, and with that, I will say, Chewy, it's all you, buddy.
All right, camping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you in Nora.